Jenna Morales hadn't planned to stop in Daggerhorn, Nebraska. It was a tiny, overlooked speck on the map. One of those towns where the population sign barely cracked 3 digits, and the cornfields rolled endlessly into the horizon like a golden sea. She was en route to the Rockies, her travel blog's next feature, when a brewing summer storm chased her down a cracked rural road. Her van, a battered but beloved companion she'd nicknamed Roxy, began to sputter and wheeze. Then came the hiss of steam, the squeal of a belt, and finally, silence. Roxy gave out just 5 miles outside of town. Jenna coasted the vehicle to a halt beside a diner on the town's only main street. Miller's Fork read the rusted sign above the door. One of the letters blinked intermittently, buzzing like a trapped fly. The diner smelled of burned coffee and old grease, and the handful of patrons all paused to stare when she entered. The kind of stare that lasted a second too long. There was something too still about the place, like the calm that precedes something awful. "Any chance there's a mechanic in town?" she asked the waitress, who looked like she'd been breathing cigarette smoke since birth. The woman eyed her for a beat, then nodded toward the window. "Eli's place, down 6th next to the old silos. Closed today. Storm's coming. Best you hole up somewhere for the night." Jenna thanked her, ordered a coffee, and spent the next few minutes trying to get cell service. No signal. She laughed to herself, already crafting her next blog post in her mind. Trapped in nowhere, when your van dies in the middle of a Stephen King novel. She checked into the town's only motel, the Hollow Rest. The name did nothing to quell her unease. The clerk handed her a key with barely a glance, and the room was exactly what she expected. Threadbare bedspread, buzzing fluorescent light, and an old tube TV that didn't work. But she had her camera, and the storm made for an eerie, beautiful backdrop. That night she filmed a short update. The wind howled against the window, and lightning bathed the room in blue-white flashes. Laughing nervously, she said into the lens, "If I vanish, someone check the cornfields." She didn't sleep well. Sometime past midnight, something knocked against her window. A branch, maybe. But in the silence that followed, she swore she heard something else. A low, deep breathing. When she peeked out, there was nothing but darkness. The cornfield across the road waved softly, as if something had just disappeared into it. The next day, she wandered town while waiting on Eli to look at her van. It was the kind of place that felt untouched by time. Rusted playgrounds, shuttered storefronts, and the overwhelming silence of isolation. She tried to chat with the locals, but they were stiff, wary. When she asked about the town's history or folklore, eyes dropped to the ground. At the general store, she met a teenage girl named Marla. Jenna worked her charm, bright smile, disarming friendliness, and eventually Marla leaned in close and whispered, "Girls go missing here, every few years, always near the cornfields. No one finds them." Jenna blinked, heart skipping. "How long has this been happening?" Marla looked around nervously. "A long time. Way before I was born. People say it's just accidents, but it's not." Before Jenna could ask more, Marla's manager appeared, and the girl clammed up. The librarian was no more helpful. "Old town," she said. "Lots of rumors. You want truth, dig through the archives." So Jenna did. Dust coated every surface of the small library's basement. She found boxes of old newspaper clippings dating back to the 1940s. The deeper she dug, the colder her fingers felt, like the temperature had dropped just for her. There they were, dozens of cases. Girls missing without a trace, 1952, 1961, 1979, 1993, 2008. Each headline was eerily similar: vanished in the corn, teen disappears near field, No clues in summer vanishing, no bodies, no suspects. Only one detail repeated. The disappearances always happened in July, always young women, and always near the eastern cornfields. That night, her motel room felt smaller, claustrophobic. She kept the lights on. Around midnight, her phone vibrated. No number, just a message. You shouldn't have started digging. She froze. Another knock on the window, softer this time. When she looked again, no one. The next morning, she hiked out to the eastern fields, camera in hand. The sun blazed above, but inside the corn it was like stepping into another world. The air was damp and heavy, the silence unnatural. She walked for over an hour, disoriented. Everything looked the same. Then she stumbled into a small clearing where the corn had been trampled flat. At the center lay a rusted object half buried in dirt. She dug it out, a locket. Inside, a faded photo of a girl no older than 16, smiling, eyes full of life. Jenna recognized her face from one of the old newspaper clippings. Then came the breathing again. She turned slowly. A figure stood between the stalks, tall, still, wearing a long brown coat and something over his face, a mask made from stitched leather and burlap. He held a blade curved like a sickle, old and rusted. She couldn't scream, she could only run. Corn whipped against her. Her breath came in ragged gasps. The figure moved fast, yet somehow never made a sound. She stumbled, fell, scraped her knee raw, but got up and kept running until she burst out of the field and onto the road. He didn't follow past the corn. She went to the sheriff. He listened, his eyes hard. Then he leaned forward and said, "You want my advice? Leave. Some things in this town aren't yours to understand." When she returned to the motel, her room had been broken into. Her bag was open, her laptop gone. Only one thing remained on the bed, her own locket, the one her grandmother gave her, now broken in half. That night, someone knocked again. 3 soft knocks, then a pause, then 2 more, then silence. When she checked, a slip of paper had been slid under her door. In blood-red ink it read, "You're the next." She tried to leave at dawn. Roxy wouldn't start. Eli swore it had been running fine the day before. His eyes were hollow. "They know," he said simply. "And now you do too. They won't let you go." She packed her camera and hiked down the railroad tracks, desperate for escape. The sun was low in the sky when she heard footsteps behind her. She turned, the figure again, closer this time. She ran into the woods, slipping, panting, sobbing. He followed, always behind, never rushing, just coming. She found an old barn, abandoned. She hid beneath the floorboards, her camera still recording. Through the cracks, she saw his boots, muddy, worn. He stood above her, silent, waiting. Hours passed. When she finally emerged, he was gone. But carved into the dirt outside the barn was a symbol, a spiral. At its center, the locket she had found lay open, as if returned. She flagged down a truck miles later, disheveled, terrified, dehydrated. She uploaded her footage. Some said it was a hoax, viral marketing. But Jenna never returned to blogging. She moved across the country, changed her name. A month later, another girl vanished from Daggerhorn. In the field where she disappeared, they found a new spiral. And in its center, they found something else. Jenna's scarf, still warm and stained with blood. If you felt the chill crawl down your spine during Jenna's horrifying descent into Daggerhorn's secrets, don't forget to subscribe for more unsettling tales that will haunt your thoughts long after the screen goes dark. And remember, some towns don't want to be found, and some stories were never meant to be told. If you hear breathing just outside your window tonight, don't look. Until next time, stay safe, stay aware.